Awesome.
Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Movie Review Edition. I'm your host for today, Pete.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Joseph.
And today we're embarking on week 2 of Spaghetti Western April. And this week we're reviewing Sergio Corbucci's The Grey Silence. Film movement.
È un uomo che fa tremare I cacciatori di taglie quando lo incontra.
She said cacciatori, chicken cacciatori.
Perché dopo che è passato lui, resta soltanto il silenzio.
Must be the Italian trailer.
Chi è quel tipo spiritoso col cappello da prete e con la pelliccia d'oro? Tigrero, uno che è meglio perderlo che trovarlo.
Oh, 50th anniversary restoration.
Ho ucciso mio marito. Ditemi quanto volete.
Senti, Muto, speri che io estragga per primo, vero? Perché non ti lascerò fare il furbo più di me.
È un nemico dei bounty killer.
È un illuso che crede di rimettere a posto il mondo con la pistola.
Ma è venuto per uccidere te.
Yeah, great score in this one too. Of course.
Ennio.
Ennio Morricone.
Ennio.
Starring this guy and this German guy.
Starring Santa Claus Kinski.
Un giorno potreste incontrare uno più svelto di voi.
Sarà un giorno molto divertente.
The Great Silence. Il Gran Silenzio.
Which translates to
Something about
whale's
Jesus,
vagina.
yes. Something about pasta, I think. So yeah, The Great Silence, 1968. This is written and directed by Sergio Corbucci, probably the second most well-known Sergio of the spaghetti western genre.
Of the Sergios.
Of the spaghetti, the SW Sergios. Also written by Vittoriano Petrilli and Mario Amendola, starring Jean-Louis Trintignant, Klaus Kinski, Frank Wolf, and others. This is hard to really overstate how much the Hateful Eight is dependent on this movie, was inspired by this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Snow Western.
That Tarantino, once again.
Tarantino publicly stated that Sergio Corbucci's Great Silence is his favorite snow Western and has influenced his own works, including Django Unchained and The Hateful Eight. Specifically, the snow setting, the homicidal bounty hunters, Ennio Morricone's score in The Hateful Eight, they all bear striking resemblance to The Great Silence.
Mm.
So, I mean, he's not shy with his influences. How much of it is a ripoff and how much is an homage? I think it's just like a much, much cleaner, tighter version of like modern filmmaking version. Like if he was if those filmmakers were in today's standards and had the equipment and the time and the budget and all that kind of stuff, they might be making something similar to Tarantino stuff, just with less N-words in it. To be honest.
Yeah.
Less racial slurs.
N-words and shots of feet.
Yeah, definitely less feet, I think. But I mean, even traveling through stagecoach through the long snow or through the snow, picking up bodies. Hey, we're gonna throw this one on the roof. Oh, you can't do that. Well, these are bounty men, you know.
Them, yeah. This scene in play where Walton Goggins is in the
It's Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins and they enter the Kurt Russell and his Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yep.
That's like, oh, okay. When I was watching this, I was like, damn.
Even the first shot is like a horse riding in the distance towards the camera. Long shot, not as long as the Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
But into the foreground through the snowy blizzard. So it's really hard to overstate just how influential it is. But so anyways, this is my pick for Spaghetti Western April. And I didn't know anything about it except for I saw the name Klaus Kinski. I didn't even know it was Sergio Corbucci when I picked it. But I know it was kind of revered as one of the top spaghetti westerns of, the big ones out there. So
our knowledge of spaghetti westerns grows.
It's every day.
I didn't know there was more than one Sergio.
That's right. Sergio Corbucci.
I thought he just had a hold on the genre.
Sergio Leone?
Leone, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know there's other ones too. I hope that at some point during this month, I find a comedy because supposedly later on in the genre, they became more
lighthearted.
Yeah, more lighthearted. So this movie was actually conceived by Corbucci as a politically charged allegory inspired by the deaths of Che Guevara and Malcolm X, surprisingly.
And Martin Luther King and Robert F. Kennedy.
Robert F. Kennedy too, huh?
Yeah.
It takes place in Utah in the Great Blizzard of 1899, same blizzard that Hateful Eight takes place in. And it pits a mute gunslinger fighting in the defense of a group of outlaws and a vengeful young widow against a group of ruthless bounty hunters led by Loco, played by Klaus Kinski, and the corrupt banker Henry Pollicut. Unlike most films of the genre, which were filmed in the Almerian province of Spain to double for areas of Texas and Mexico, this movie, The Great Silence, was primarily filmed on location in the Dolomites in Italy.
Nice.
Yeah, so actually up in the mountains. The other thing that I thought was really weird about this, and we'll get into initial thoughts, is the shots where there is a ton of snow in the town. If it wasn't actually snowing during production, they flooded it with hundreds of gallons of shaving cream for production.
I read that, yeah.
What the fuck? Who thinks of that? Shaving cream?
It's white, it's fluffy.
It's wet, though.
Yeah,
It's sticky.
Yeah.
Well, snow's wet, too.
I guess. So, anyways.
You want to know what else is wet?
Yeah. So, the first watch for all of us, obviously. It's totally fresh and new. Tyler, want to lead us off with your thoughts?
Yeah. So,
Joshua Sroofy in the chat says, I love you, Tyler.
oh, I love you too, Josh. I don't know who you are, but
Look at that. Someone on Team Tyler.
yeah.
loves you.
And I also love The Great Silence.
Oh, cool.
Oh my God. I love this movie more than the previous spaghetti westerns I watched last week. Like, holy crap.
You've been good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah.
Like it more?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, it was badass. And the runtime felt correct. Like, I know the good and bad and the ugly, like this for what the story was, the runtime also felt correct for that one, but it just kind of dragged on a little bit. But this one was just like, it was a tight 145, got right to the point. Silence is a badass, like just a complete badass. He looks the part too. He looks better than Clint Eastwood. I'm not going to shy away. I thought he was an attractive man. And then the female lead, gay. the female lead was just a vision, and just overall, like the characters were very charismatic. I very much appreciated it being a Western in the snow, because everyone's gonna think Western and think desert, but like you put the snow, it kind of draws you in a little bit more. Costume design was just incredible, 10 out of 10. And the ADR stuff kind of took me out of the movie a little bit because it was pretty egregious.
Yeah. Most of the people didn't speak English.
But I mean, I can look past that. Like it was noticeable. So that's kind of like, I was really into the story. And then when I would notice like the off kiltered, like I was like, okay, I just ignore it. And so overall, though, yeah, this has to be like my favorite spaghetti western movie so far. I mean, I only see three of them. So out of the three that I've saw, this one just
Number
one for sure. So yeah, great movie. I'm glad that I was able to watch it.
Awesome. Joseph.
Awesome. I'm gonna have very similar thoughts about it. It was fantastic. It was a wonderful movie and a wonderful subversion of the story.
You got a fan, Tyler.
Yeah. You should start an OF just so he can support you.
Yeah.
I already have an account, so.
You already have an OnlyFans? Yeah. Is it to purchase?
No, I only created it out
It's
of fun.
to indulge.
You indulge. Oh, okay,
I don't have
see.
there's no content on there.
There's nothing out there for me.
It's a one-way street.
Anyways.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It was an exciting experience. It was Klaus Kinski was a true menace in this movie. Mm-hmm. And the parallels that Corbucci was making at the time, I feel like are still relevant today,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this specific year of 2025.
Yeah.
Of like, sometimes they win, sometimes they just win, and it doesn't matter how if you are even doing the right thing or the right thing in your mind, it's a true show of like a good character, someone who will do the right thing no matter what, even if you will fail at it. That was like the biggest shock to me, like that whole end sequence.
I know.
I was like waiting for like the
Deus Ex Machina or
for
something.
him to get this comeuppance, you know. But it doesn't happen, and it's not even that Silence is like that. Like he's not like Clint Eastwood. Like he's not like he can just like he's a what do you call, gunslinger.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole sequence when he's in the bar and he's flicking the match and cigar in his drink, and then he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he wants to confront these evildoers, the evildoers, and but even if he gets the shit kicked out of him, he is the just silence, and the quote of the silence of death follows him or something like that.
Yeah, it's so
Was
awesome.
one of the coldest lines.
Yeah.
The things about a character that like sort of come true, because in the end, it's just a lot of death. There's a lot of death, a lot of silence. Fantastic scores, fantastic, just like really, really long shots. They put that cameraman on top of a mountain with a goddamn zoom telephoto lens, and like, all right, we got this carriage with the horses. This convoy is going to come down the pass, and then you're just going to follow them. And I mean, you could tell that zoom lens, they were like,
They're struggling.
yeah, it's far away. I don't even know what it looked like on like in camera. I mean, is it like looking through like a viewfinder, like binoculars almost, or telescope?
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, the snow setting was fantastic. All these movies that are just really. I just played Red Dead again, and I just want to play it again.
Yeah, really.
Because they're the world that they live in this one specifically was a really nice change of scenery. Like let's swap one miserable landscape for another. Go from just extremely hot to just extremely cold.
Yeah.
And the influence is not subtle at all in Tarantino's work.
No.
Doesn't even try to hide it.
No, not at all.
And it's like
Excuse me.
if he was if he made bad movies, like sort of like closer to like objectively bad movies,
Like Paul Thomas or like Paul W.S. Anderson movies.
yeah, it would be way more offensive. But it's like he makes like strong, like entertaining movies. So it's like, well, he did rip it off, but it's still pretty damn good.
I mean, I don't think he like shies away from it either. Like if someone's like, "Hey, did you get this from The Great Silence?" He'd be like, "Yeah,
Yeah, I love that movie.
yeah, could you not tell?" Like
I made it pretty obvious.
Yeah, I feel like he would be like, "Do you like?"
The things that well, I'll talk about later.
But yeah, it's a really entertaining movie. It was not like too long or too short or anything. The character of Silence and like the lore behind him and why he is silent was really well like placed in the story, and like it works with everything else. Was just really good. Like really, this is like a standout of like the few that we've watched so far, for sure.
Cool, awesome. I don't think I liked it as much as you guys did, but I thought it really was pretty fantastic. And the subversion, like the subversion of my expectations was shocking too. I mean,
Yeah.
You got famous movies where the good guy dies at the end. Easy Rider, Night of the Living Dead, No Country for Old Men. The bad guy wins, walks away.
Yeah, it's not like just the good guy dies. It's usually also the bad guy dies.
Yeah.
But this is just the bad guy wins.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll ask you guys, do you kind of take it that after he killed Silence, that they essentially left. Did they leave?
They left town.
They left town. They kind of left. They're like, all right, well,
We're done here.
yeah. I mean, we killed the guy, and I kind of feel like a shit about it. So I guess we're gonna go.
I don't know.
Or do they just keep running amok?
I mean,
They definitely did that for sure.
yeah,
So I mean, and
they follow the money. So like, if there's no money to be made in that town, they probably up
Sure.
and left.
So Corbucci's, famous like radical leftist, radical, progressive, and the idea that even couple things, I've read up a lot of like, how do you interpret this ending sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and the idea that even if you know you're gonna lose or you're gonna die, you still do the right thing is an important message. But also just the fact that even if you are this mythical badass on a horse that can shoot 3 potatoes out of the sky with your little box gun, and you're riding through town with a vengeance on your mind to do whatever you need to do, you think that you're going to be the winner, but the bank is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Every time it's capitalism wins.
Yeah.
The poor and the downtrodden and the struggling and the lower class and the middle class, they're the ones that suffer at the end.
Yeah.
And the only people that win are the bankers and the people who have and not the people who have not. So, it's very fitting for the time that we're living in right now, where we're basically in America's. It's always been a version of an oligarchy. It's just like people who pretend to care about you versus people that outwardly don't care about you, but it's all millionaires that are running the country. Now it's like the people who are millionaires and billionaires are just so open about it, that they're like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about you guys. We're going to do this for us.
Not even pretending anymore.
Yeah, we're bragging about how I made $500 million yesterday because of the decisions that I made as a fucking president.
Yeah.
It's like, it's shocking to see in real life. And maybe when we were kids, that stuff was happening, but I don't think so.
I don't think they were so brazen about it.
I don't think they were so bold and brash.
I mean, at least they were more pandering.
Yeah. It's like, so, but like,
at least lie to me a little bit.
but seeing that, kind of bleak message that it's like, yeah, this guy is the hero. Yeah. And he got his throat slashed as a young child.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watched his parents murdered in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Mother was collateral damage.
Yeah.
The man lied to his dad. Come out, we're good. You just surrender. Okay, I'm gonna surrender. And they come in and shoot him in the back,
dead
through the back window. Shoot him fucking dead. And then the rest of them burst in and killed the mom. And the kid gets his throat sliced.
They don't kill him though.
Yeah,
Were they intending to kill him?
He said, "Don't worry, he'll never talk."
Yeah, because I don't think they had it.
It's not a medical professional.
I don't think they had it.
Calculated.
They didn't have it in. They didn't have it in them to kill a child, but they had it in them to slice a child's throat.
Well,
which I think it might
but
be
just
arguably
enough,
worse.
just enough to not kill them, but to get rid of their vocal cords.
So
These outlaws and the guy 18 to 17, whatever.
Yeah, but again, super bold filmmaking. And this is a movie too that never even made it over to the United States for decades.
Wow.
Like, it wasn't widely revered at the time. It had a revisionist sort of revival when it was picked up by Film Movement, restored, brought kind of. And I don't know if it was Film Movement specifically, but the rights were changed hands sometime in the last 15, 20 years, and it was eventually kind of revisionist history that this was one of the greats. And I agree, it's really cool.
It makes sense that it didn't make it over here. Because like this is even an outlier of spaghetti westerns in terms of the ending, because like it's so bleak.
Yeah,
it's so bleak.
It would not do well at the time in the 60s over here.
Yeah,
because
I don't think
they wanted that hero.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I really, really great. I'm glad I picked this one, and it was interesting to see Klaus Kinski, in that role. I mean, he definitely plays an easy villain. He's got those eyes.
What a
Yeah,
scumbag.
he's got that evil eyes.
Yeah, but it was like French lead, German villain, Italian writer director, shot in the Dolomite Mountains of Italy. It's just
It's a melting pot.
Just a hodgepodge, yeah. And then, I wonder because the interesting things is, you can go to the 3 for us. The really weird thing about like Tarantino's heavy influence on these things, or their influence on him, is that like this was an obscure movie. So how did Tarantino see this with no American distribution in the 70s or the, late 70s, early 80s.
I mean,
Yeah.
there could have been like bootleg copies of it. Because he did work at a video store for a while. Maybe he got a hold of one of the copies.
But that's one.
Mm-hmm.
But then some of the other movies that I know he took a great influence from were the like the Shaw Brothers movies from 1960s and 1970s kung fu cinema.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's a character in one of them. It was one of my stream picks a while back. Bai Mei looks just like Pai Mei, the kung fu master from Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Long white mustache, long white beards. Bai Mei, Pai Mei.
Yeah.
Same thing. Long white hair with the ponytail.
Just flip the B upside down.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a kung fu master. He's like the greatest kung fu master of all, except for he's a villain in that one, not teaching the hero.
Yeah.
And you're like you just took this character, put it into his movie, and then there's direct full scene pulls from Lady Snowblood, which Lady Snowblood a little bit more easy to access, but it's like I don't even think there was any American distribution for a lot of those movies. So you're thinking
At some point they came over here.
it had to have.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking like what an interesting thing to see take these super obscure movies that you couldn't see anywhere else.
He's like, no one's ever going to watch these movies, so they'll never know.
It could be it. It could be this. Could have started out early in his career. He's like, I'm gonna see this shit.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to watch this movie.
Yeah, and then as now more things become, but even so, what if just the idea that Quentin himself had the foresight and the taste, much like Rick Rubin's. He survives off of being able to be confident in his taste, and you see these movies and you're like, oh yeah, we can make movies like that.
Yeah.
We can make my own version of that, and you're like, his career leading to the point where he's basically just recreating these Western greats and these kung fu greats is really kind of cool
Yeah.
to see. I have a respect for it, and it also is strange just how much of it gets directly pulled.
Yeah.
I never had I could understand the perspective of someone who would be thinking like, oh, he's just ripping it off. But one, Quentin Tarantino makes good movies. Like, objectively speaking, they're good. Two, he doesn't shy away from his influences. Like, he's not going to be put in a corner with like got you like questions like, oh, did you know this was from that? And he'd be like, yeah, of course it was. Like this, of course it was. Do you not see the parallel? Like, and so I respect him for that. And that's like you were saying, Joseph. If the movies were bad, then yeah, it would be a little bit more offensive. But
Which is weird.
But it's weird. It's a weird thing to like think because like
You did it though. You nailed it.
yeah,
you're lucky it's a good movie. Yeah, otherwise I would hate you. I mean, I still kind of hate you, but keep making those movies.
I like them.
I like them, but yeah. I mean,
If Michael Jackson came out with a new record today, I'd listen.
I mean, it kind of also goes back to what we kind of said already before. Like some of these movies were also inspired by the Akira, not Akira, Kurosawa.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's like this long chain of game of movie telephone making or filmmaking telephone.
Yeah. There's a number of couple alternative endings that Corbucci delivered to the studio because they obviously were not happy with that bleak ending.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, so there's an alternative happy ending.
He kills everybody, and he becomes mayor of town.
Because they were going to originally release it during Christmas season, so they wanted to give it a happy ending. And
It's like the Scooby-Doo ending.
it was shot for the North African and Asian markets, although there's no evidence to suggest the ending was ever seen in either region. So some of the footage shot for the ending did, however, appear on the film's trailers because it was believed that no audio elements were for the ending had survived. The early DVDs release of the films in America featured it without sound, so you could watch that ending with no sound. Later releases, such as the Film Movement's Blu-ray, included the ending with synchronized Italian audio. And then they had another ending, an ambiguous ending, which basically shows Loco shooting Silence in both hands, or one of his henchmen shooting him in both hands. And they're trying to basically kill him, and he has Loco has a change of heart, and he basically leaves the saloon and leaves him there. So he doesn't die, but he gets crippled or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was reading about it was like some people talking about the ending. Maybe they shouldn't have put music. They should have left it at silent, like no sound, because silence is dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. But then I'm like, well, the silence is gone now, so there wouldn't be a silence anymore.
Yeah.
The absence of silence.
Yeah, I thought there wasn't enough silence in this movie though. Like not the actual silence, like the character. I don't think he was in it enough. But I will say, like every time he was on screen, like I was totally like sucked in because he has had such like a charismatic like.
Here we go with the sucking again.
He has such a he has such like a this aura about himself that is very charismatic. Even though he says nothing throughout the movie, it's just the way that he looks. It just draws you in. But I really do wish that he was in the movie more. But the parts that he is in the movie, like, are really good. And Loco was also played an incredible asshole. I hated that character in a good way. Like he's
effective.
Yeah, he's very effective. And the reveal of him being silent, where like he just shows his neck, and it like I thought that was badass. That the way he did it. I am on the fence on if I like the reveal on how he got his throat slashed.
Like the flashback?
Yeah, the flashback was done well. But like that transition of him looking at the candle and then the scene coming in the window and then it comes back to like his childhood home. Thought that was really interesting. But I wanted a little bit more of a mystery on why he was a mute rather than knowing how he became a mute. But
that's why they have Mute for the movie that we covered.
And then, but the way that the way it played out, the flashback, it didn't overstay its welcome. It was just like bang bang. What should we do with the kid? He's gonna talk or something of that nature, and he's like, "Don't worry, he won't never speak again.
He'll never say a word."
Yeah, and then they pull out the knife, and now I'm thinking like, "Oh man, so it was them who slashed his throat?" Because I thought it was gonna be like in some sort of battle, like or adventure he was in, and he like got like caught by Native Americans, and then there's like, but I don't know.
You're disappointed it wasn't a minority that did it to him. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not. No, I was. I was waxing on how I'm on the fence. Like it was a well done flashback, but I'm wondering, like, was it necessary to go?
That was great. It's a great reveal.
Like I think the reveal was great, but going back to see how his throat got slashed.
The reveal,
you just wish somebody else did it in different circumstances?
No, I'm just
Tyler's headcanon was wrong, so he's
upset.
My
my headcanon was wrong.
He's like the whole time before it happened, he's like, I bet it was the natives.
I bet it was those savage Indians.
No, what? No.
I hope it was.
No.
That way I can continue to hate them.
God damn it, you're gonna get me canceled.
Just give me a reason.
Sure about that?
So speaking of Sergio Corbucci, this is his highest rated movie he'd ever directed. Second highest was The Con Artist from 1976. And then after that was Django, the original Django, 1966. So a couple years before this, he already had Django, a coffin-dragging gunslinger and a prostitute become embroiled in a bitter feud between a clan of Southern racists and a band of Mexican revolutionists.
The Django.
And yeah, in this one, you can see in the trailer here, maybe I can't see it. Here we go. You can see there's the red masked bandits as well that are present in Django instead of having red masks. So they just have
Django Unchained.
Django Unchained, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
They
have the red hoods instead of the white hoods. But it's like, again, just another.
I'm fucking with my holes.
This guy looks like Sean Whalen. Doesn't it look like Sean Whalen?
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's his pedigree. But Corbucci's got, let's see here, how many credits does he have on his directing? 63 credits to his directing name.
No.
Prevalent.
Uh-huh.
And he wrote most of those. He's acted in 5 movies as well. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. What a badass.
Yeah.
Any other interesting things you wanted to talk about with the movie? Like Joseph, do you have any points that reminded you of anything or?
Not a whole lot. I mean, the like I said earlier, I mean, the parallels to today's world was kind of crazy to think about. It was just like the people who are doing like the poor or just like regular civilians are suffering or are the victims of these just bad guys who just they beat the good guys, and so now they're running the town, and then we're all fucked. So it's a nobody win situation.
Mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
Well, not for them. They're still having a good time.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the fact that Corbucci integrated a lot of his, like, he made it a point to like, these are my inspirations for like this movie, the Che Guevara and
Malcolm X.
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X assassinations are all like essentially direct inspirations for the story, this story and this anti-authoritarianism, like anti-capitalist like message. I'm like, people have been doing this shit since the 60s. So it's like, it's not like a new thing to be against these systems.
And this is supposed to take place in like 1890.
Yeah.
And that's like, ever since there was
Turn of
money,
the century.
ever since there was money, there was people who were hoarding the money and killing people for it.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about, keeping on the topic of learning more about spaghetti westerns. We talked about, I mentioned there was the different classifications of a western in the era. Right. So I found this discussion online. It's about, what defines the genre of spaghetti westerns apart from the stuff that I think of, like the music, the Italian productions, etc. Is there something that is, thematically consistent between them? And I found this great kind of breakdown. I'm just going to read it through. So this person essentially postulates that, spaghetti westerns and American westerns, they're two distinct sides of the coin. Everybody kind of looks at those two distinctions. Spaghetti is this, it's the Italian Spanish production more than anything. But they have different characteristics or whatever. But that's not exactly true. John Wayne, John Ford made a variety of films that fit into different movements within the American Western, Italian Western, hybrid. So the connective thematic tissues between these things like Stagecoach, The Searchers, The Man Who Shot Liberty Vance, those are all same actor-director pairings. They also had John Hawkes, Houston, William Wyler, Sturgis as directors, Jimmy Stewart, Henry Fonda, Humphrey Bogart. Those are all like the American leads, but there's no single thematic, group or thematic pairing that kind of overarches in even just the American ones or even just the Italian ones. So what you have is, there are 4 essentially movements within the Western genre of that era and even into today. There's the classical. That's traditional white hat, black hat. How the West was won. Very clear. This is a good guy. This is a bad guy. So that's like 20s and 30s American filmmaking. No moral ambiguity, just good-hearted men and women overcoming challenges of nature and the bad people coming up to them. Less good-hearted men as they conquer the frontier. Stagecoach, How the West Was Won, Silverado, those type of movies. Then you have modernist westerns. That's gray hat. There's the ambiguous. There's it recognizes or embraces the moral ambiguity. It acknowledges the era of violence and even argues for the necessity of violence. Most Clint Eastwood westerns from the 60s and 70s would be modernists. Those are movies like The Searchers, another modernist one that I watched last week. Think about the amorality of Clint Eastwood's characters in the Dollars trilogies, gunning down thugs who embarrass him at the start of Fistful of Dollars, and how he treats Tuco in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Then there's revisionist Western, which would be like this, the inside-out hat Western. Everything you learn from classical and modern Westerns is bullshit tropes. The tropes are phony. The moral lessons are a lie. The history is wrong. Little Big Man dances with wolves. That's revisionist Western, where you're basically taking it from the perspective of the Native Americans and saying, we're not the bad guys. You're the bad guys.
Right.
So I don't know where this would fall up between like modernist and revisionist for The Great Silence, but I mean, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And then there's postmodern. That's like the very modern stuff. No hat Western. Similar to postmodern art, it's harder to define, but it's usually marked by the rejection of or the metafictional approach to Western tropes. Once a time in the West, is often considered a postmodern Western because of how it uses Henry Fonda and other meta references. But more clear examples would be like The Proposition, 3:10 to Yuma, the modern one. There's no hard boundaries to any of these things, so it's kind of a Venn diagram of where they land on it. But you get basically classical, black and white, modernist, gray hat, revisionist, inside out hat. You're basically turning everything you have on its head, and then postmodern is there is no rules.
Yeah.
So where it is in the movies that we've watched so far, looks like probably 2 modernist movies and maybe some revisionist within the Great Silence. But I thought that was kind of an interesting take.
That is interesting.
Yeah, I never thought about it that deep, but there's some people that
Very passionate.
know a lot of shit about this stuff, and we don't.
Yeah, and we're only covering like 4 movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, at the very least, by the end of this month, we will, us and the listeners and the viewers, should know a little bit more about spaghetti westerns than just, it's got the. Oh, where is it? I think I actually have that.
Yeah.
Where is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what most people just think of. That and Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, and to be honest, like this was a genre that I was never really like super interested in diving into, just because it felt like a chore to watch some of them from the outside. So I was not like chomping at the bit to watch any of these movies outside of a podcast movie review setting.
I just never really, I just never really had an interest either. Like, it just, I don't know.
It's interesting that you put it on there knowing that, because I did the same thing with my pre-code movies on the wheel. I have pre-code movies on there, and I'm like, I'm really not looking forward to watching those movies, but but it's something that I know I should probably learn about.
Yeah.
The Hays Code is such a weird thing that I've heard about, and it's kind of mystical in some sense, but doesn't feel like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like something that I'm eager to, like you said, chomping at the bit to get to,
Yeah, I mean, I've never, one little preview for the topic, one of my topics that I have of a list of is like Kurosawa movies. I've never seen a Kurosawa movie.
No shit.
So
you should watch it for this. You should watch Yojimbo. I'll give you the Criterion disc.
But I'm not going to.
Wow, come on.
Because I'm saving it.
No, there's a fucking ton of them. Just watch the one.
No, I know. But
just watch the one.
But yeah, because for the same reason, it just seems like
homework. Yeah.
To watch them.
I thought that for the Seven Samurai, because it's a long ass movie.
Yeah.
It's a long ass movie. And I thought that. And I watched it really not in the era of my life when I was watching challenging movies. And I watched it and I'm like, this is a fucking great movie.
But I see, like now I know like Good and Bad Ugly is fantastic. This movie's fantastic. Fistful of Dollars is really good.
Yeah.
My mindset before that was like, God, 3-hour Western movie.
Yeah, it's going to be a movie that my dad would want to watch.
Yeah.
What's our runtime, Joseph?
We should be an hour. I just realized we weren't recording audio.
We don't have Audacity running?
We do now, but
oh, okay. 4 minutes ago?
Yep.
Oh my God. This is a repeat like last week.
40 minutes for
this
for video.
Okay.
So
bummer. It just sucks because the levels on the board are, they're all iffy. They sound okay. Like but without having the multi-tracks, I can't sweeten the audio. I can't make it sound as good.
It can't be as polished.
No. So that gets a whip.
But yeah, we're at 40 minutes basically.
40 minutes, okay. Let's see if there's any in other trivia I can bring up from this. I can't not comment on Vanetta McGee, just absolute fox.
Yeah.
She looks like she could be a supermodel today.
Yes.
Timeless look.
Oh, Pauline.
Yeah.
Pauline.
Yeah, she's smoke show.
Yeah, there was the sex scene was not was a surprise.
I was like, oh wow.
Oh wow. Because it was like there was that part of it, and then the fact that at the time it was an interracial love scene to be put on screen like that. It was it was seen as highly subversive, both in the context of Western films and commercial cinema as a whole.
Yeah.
So So that was a and like not just a sex scene, also nudity in the sex scene.
Yeah.
That was another aspect of
Little
it.
butt, little bit of side under boob for sure.
A little bit of butt.
Yeah. That was very nice.
I like the gun that he had. As soon as he pulled it out, I'm like, is that a wooden box it's in? It's a box? It's got a box gun?
Got a wooden box.
And that's a real gun. It's called the Mauser C96. It's a semi-automatic pistol. So it's basically point and shoot. No recocking, no reloading, you know. And it's German built, if you couldn't figure out by the design. It looks like a freaking...
It's like a Luger, right?
Yeah, it looks like a Luger. But it's like seeing that gun and Klaus Kinski on it, I kept thinking, is this actually a German production? Just all I needed to know was Klaus Kinski and this, a gun. But it had a nickname called the broom handle because it had that wooden box.
Yeah, it had the stock.
And and you could convert it in basically into a type of a rifle and use it as like a stock, which I thought was interesting. He does that to shoot the potatoes.
Yeah.
Also, let's see, who was the other one? It was Frank Wolf plays the Sheriff Burnett. And he generally was a leading man before this and didn't take kind of goofy roles like this because he's kind of the comic relief. He's kind of become a schmuck a little bit.
Yeah.
And he killed himself like a few years after this movie was made.
Oh,
what?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. It's like
He couldn't get any lead roles anymore.
I guess not. But
sad.
yeah, it's a shame. That's all you give him? Okay,
Sorry.
You guys get the one piano note.
You only give one note.
Rip.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was great all in all. Everything all said and done. Very happy we watched it.
The separate from involved with the movie because Klaus Kinski apparently had a affair, on-set affair with actress Shireen Miller, clearly Vanetta McGee.
Yeah.
And she's named as such in the All You Need Is Love edition. During the Cortina shoot, when his wife Bridget and daughter Natasha enjoyed sledding in the snow, his IRL wife and daughter.
Yeah.
In Cortina d'Ampezzo, I make the first snowbound western. This is from his book.
It's like, memoir.
Yeah. Biggie and Nazja are happy and cheerful. They frolic in the snow, go sledding all day, skating, and ride jingly horse-drawn sleighs to the mountains. But the instant I am alone with Biggie, we argue and hit one another. This time, the reason is the Black American actress Shireen Miller, who's also starring in the movie. She's got a boyish body, boyish haircut, boyish ass, and almost no tits. Her room lies directly over our apartment. In the morning when I come back after fucking Shireen half the night, I sneak past a sleeping Biggie to get my toothbrush, razor, and fresh underwear. This way, we can't fight. I kiss her and Nazja cautiously to avoid waking them. He wrote this.
Wow.
Interesting.
What a class act.
That guy is insane. I have he's the one that has that love-hate relationship with Werner Herzog. My best fiend.
Yeah, he's got like mental problems.
Yeah, he's like very abusive on set and like physically abusive. Like he was beating people up on the set of Aguiar, The Wrath of God.
Jesus.
Yeah, including Werner.
I can imagine beating up the director of the movie that you're in.
So this was distributed in most territories by 20th Century Fox. The theatrical release was mediocre commercial reception in Italy, but it fared much better in other countries. It was controversial for the bleak, dark tone, and the reputation grew. It gained a cult following in the wake of its release. The film was withheld from release in the United States until 2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why it says 2001 on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yes. And in Britain, it first showed up in 1990 on the BBC Two program, Video.
What? No one in America could have a version of this movie until 2001?
No distribution until 2001, yeah.
That's insane. I mean, it makes sense that then Tarantino would have seen it by then.
Yeah.
And then he made Django in what, 2012,
I think?
Something like that?
Yeah. Let's see, Django Unchained.
Not Django, Hateful Eight.
Well, it had this definitely has some inspiration. 2012 for Django, and Hateful Eight, I think, was 2018. Hateful Eight, 2015. And then also in 2012 and 2017, it had some theatrical re-releases. So now, many years later, 50-something years after its release, The Great Silence is regarded by films and authorities on the spaghetti western genre as one of the greatest films of the genre.
Mm-hmm.
It's acknowledged as Corbucci's masterpiece. It is his highest rated movie on IMDb. And the utilization of snowbound landscapes, Ennio Morricone's score, and the subversion of several conventions of the Western genre all put it basically as one of the best. Great Silence is to be the second film of the director's Mud and Blood trilogy, which also includes Django and The Specialists. So it is technically part of a trilogy.
Damn it.
Son of a bitch.
All these are part of unofficial trilogies.
We did it again.
Which part? Which
The second.
That's the second.
This is
one,
the second.
middle
Yeah.
one.
Django's the first, then this one, and then The Specialists. But I don't think well, clearly he didn't make it into The Specialists.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I wonder, how is Sergio Corbucci? He's not alive anymore.
No, he's good. He's dead.
He's dead. This kind of applies to all just art in general, like painters from years ago, composers, like their music and movies, like this movie, like it lives on, and finally it was released in America, and now it has all this acclaim worldwide.
Wasn't even alive to see it.
Yeah, but he did it for the love of the game.
Yep.
That's right. He did it for the love. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, there's no. It's interesting. The Specialists, the tagline or this additional name, like alternative name for it was "Drop them or I'll shoot."
Drop them or stop, or my mom will shoot.
Yeah. Spaghetti Western, co-written by Sergio Corbucci, Italy, France, and West Germany. West Germany. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to watch any of those ones because I still have to do a few dollars more.
Yeah, that's 2.5 hours.
Ugh.
So it's right in between.
Yeah.
So this was so Django was the first of this trilogy, even though he made 4 movies between this and Great Silence.
The Mud and Blood trilogy. It's unofficial.
The Great Silence and The Specialist.
The Specialist, yeah. So, all right, that's all I got to say. You guys got anything else to say?
No, I don't think
Spaghetti
so.
Westerns in general, The Great Silence, Klaus Kinski.
All I will say is
Vanetta McGee.
Just the last thing is I really love the ending, and I like how the good guys don't win, and they did it in a way where it didn't feel cheap, or anything like that. It just felt correct, and it really. I walked away from that movie thinking to myself, this was a really, really good movie, but that sucks that Silence died because he was a badass. He didn't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's all I have to say about it. It was just overall great movie.
Cool. Awesome. You guys want to grade it?
Yeah.
Tyler?
A.
So yeah, solid A, almost A+.
I'm going to go A-. Yeah. Thought it was really, really something. Okay, cool. So let's see here. What do we got next? All right.
The Lasso.
Week 3, right? Of
Spaghetti Western
April. Tyler, what are we watching? This is your pick.
Massacre on the Hudson River, I think it's what it's called.
Hudson River Massacre.
Hudson River Massacre. That's
What are you doing over there on your phone?
I'm typing it in so I can read about it.
Who are you texting?
I'm not texting anyone. I was Google searching the movie. I forgot to bring it up.
Josh Shroofy? This is who you want to donate your money to?
All right. Well, Hudson River Massacre. It's about a character named Victor who joins his fellow trappers in their doomed rebellion and ends up falling in love with Anne, a tyrannical business head's daughter whom they kidnap to gain the upper hand over the inconsiderate governing authorities. It's rated at 4.6 out of 10. So
they can all be bangers, I guess.
I don't know if it's gonna. The only reason why I chose this movie was because of the name.
I wanted to do the most little research as possible.
It's listed as Itre del Colorado on IMDb.
Itre del Colorado.
Well, yeah, it should be probably the worst out of the two that we've
Amando de Osorio directed this.
I only have one friend on Letterboxd who's watched this. They gave it 3 stars.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so all right. It's all right, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Where can you watch this, Tyler?
On YouTube for free. You don't have to rent it or anything.
Or Tubi or Plex.
Yeah. It's very, very available.
You've already watched it?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, cool. All right, and it's only an hour and 38 minutes. Well, thank God for that.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say?
Do we have you said we already have submissions for.
Oh, you know what? Let me read who those are real quick. So we didn't get a ton of responses.
We just needed one.
Yeah,
We just needed
at least one. So we have Western pick. Here we go. Okay, so Heather says, so this is our pick for the Patreon choice, which is going to be week 4.
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, My Name is Nobody, which is the ever-present Terrence Hill and Henry Fonda collaboration. Also, They Call Me Trinity, which is Barboni and Terrence Hill.
Heard of that.
Also, Death Rides a Horse. She's voting for that one as well because someone else voted that earlier. I'm sure there's some more than rattling around in my head. Angry Otter says Young Guns 1988, not a spaghetti western. But if it has to be spaghetti western, then A Fistful of Dollars, which we already looked. So that one's gonna have to get scrubbed. Jason from I've seen that. Keoma or Death Rides a Horse. I've never heard of Keoma. What's that one? Let's see.
How do you spell that?
Keoma.
Keoma.
1976 movie.
William Berger.
Interesting.
Enzo Castellari.
N.G. Castellari. That looks like
George Eastman. Why does the name sound so familiar?
Starring Franco Nero. Interesting.
George Eastman.
Okay, so that's an option. Death Rides a Horse right now has 2 votes. And there's also 3 hearts on Jason's post. Once Upon a Time in the West from Chris, which has got 3 hearts on it.
Okay.
And then Joel says, I'll wait for others to sound off. This is new territory for me. He says he's never seen a spaghetti western. But Joel did send me a message. Where is Joel here?
Hell yeah.
Joel sent me a message, and let's see what he says. All right, he watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Nice.
I'm 2 hours into The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I feel my inner Tyler coming out when I see and I have an hour left. These actors are so damn charismatic. Lee Van Cleef and Eastwood, they just ooze the Wild West vibe. And I don't know if he ever finished it. Did you finish the movie? This was 4 days ago.
Okay.
So right now, I guess it's a toss-up between Once Upon a Time in the West and Death Rides a Horse. So I'll put maybe a poll. See if we can do a poll on the...
Death Rides a Horse.
That's a cool name. And I've seen... I streaming picked Once Upon a Time in the West here as well. Okay, let's see here.
Is that... Yeah, it's spaghetti western, right?
It's an American production, but it is Sergio Leone. So it's directed by him, but
Henry Fonda, Charles Bronson.
That's the one where Charles Bronson plays another mute gunslinger named Harmonica. He plays a harmonica, hangs around his neck.
Nice.
This is pretty dope.
Dario Argento is one of the writers.
Ooh, that's cool. I didn't know that. All right, let's create a post. And I'll finish it after this show's over. This is going to be a poll. Hell yeah, you can do a poll on Patreon. Look at this. Okay, so for week 3, Hudson River Massacre. Week 4, we're going to decide it this week. We'll read the results.
Next week.
We'll decide it this week, and we'll read it on next week's episode. We'll reveal.
We'll decide it right now.
We're going to do the poll.
Right this very moment.
It's going to last through the whole week.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, we're going to do it. We're going to vote on it now.
No, because we got to get the Patreon. I got to let all the Patreon members vote. And we have 2. We have the Death Rides a Horse and Once Upon a Time in the West. We'll put it up to them. I have my thoughts on it, but we'll leave it up to the Patreon. That's their pick.
Rides a Horse. Also Lee Van Cleef.
All right, cool. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, and Chris. And if you want to support us on the Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass or just watch us on the YouTube channel. That helps too. Until next time. Thank you for joining us for week 2 Spaghetti Western April. Follow us next week as we watch the Hudson River Massacre streaming on Tubi. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class.
And Instagram.
Twitter.
Sorry, follow us Instagram and TikTok. I'm Male Class Film Class, and Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
There you go. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Yeah.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap. Great show.